Welcome back. So today I'm going to go ahead and create a user and play some things I'm pretty sure we can't do. Well, we might be able to do passwords. We'll find out. So instance state, we're going to launch an instance. Selecting the default. I'm sure you're getting tired of me launching one each time in these videos. Skip a little bit. That's what YouTube's for. So review and launch. And I have my keeper. Okay, so I don't have my command line up over there. I'll make it nice and big for you. So one of the things I often set is my ability to edit the command line, my command line editor. I'm trying to, so this is the one I've been using for the videos. And then I can just search back in my history. It's really something I do often. Find a command and then I can replace it. So let's come and view instances and see what the IP is. So if we look here, here's the IP. So I'm going to copy this and see if it's done. And this is a new system I haven't seen before. Sure. Cool. So I'm in. Now let's talk about adding users. So this is something that hopefully if you're at a decent sized place, there's automation that does this, but it's still good to understand how it would work to be able to troubleshoot the automation. So, but we're going to create a user. Now, some systems it's useradd, some systems it's add user. So if we don't know, we can always man useradd. And see that it looks like it exists here for useradd. Okay. Oftentimes I'm adding with a group. There's flags. So let's come back into man. And I usually use the G, -G for group, but I'm not going to do a group for this one. But groups are a group of people that you can assign certain rights and stuff to. But there's also this uppercase group, which is a supplementary group. So you have the lowercase, which is the initial login group, and the uppercase is a supplementary group. Okay. So there's some options there with useradd. We won't use any of the options. So we're just going to use useradd, and I'm going to call this student. Okay. And then oftentimes, if I'm in a classroom setting, I'll have them put something about them there. So there's my a name that I use. We'll do db4 jstring. Okay, so I have useradd student db4 jstring, and permission denied because I don't have rights to do this, but root does, and I can become root and do, and by using the two bangs, it does the command prior, or the two exclamations, and there so we have a user added. So this user can only log in if they have a key. In Amazon, they lock it down. And it's going to be interesting to see if it even lets me set a password. But I'm pretty sure even if you set a password, you're not going to be able to log in with this user. So we're going to set a password anyway. PASS, let's do this as root, sudo, PASSWD to change a password. And the password we're changing is this person's password. Okay. So let me go ahead and get a password ready. Since it's root, it just wants a new password, and I'm going to paste this password in. By the way, the password I used, I'll put it here at the command line. This is the password I used. Make sure you always are using good passwords. You don't reuse them. I use a password safe. I actually use --. Maybe in this video I'll include the my specific link to --. So if you use it, I'll get some free premium and I won't have to pay as much. I wouldn't mind that. But I do get a little bit of a perk if you sign up with my URL to --. So --. is what I use to generate passwords, store passwords, and things like that. They have a VPN as well. I don't use a VPN that much. That's a story for a different video. But so now that I have that, let's see if it can log in. So I can just say SSH, and this is the student ID, at, and I'm going to say localhost, okay, which says this computer. So localhost is this computer. Let me grab that password again. And it says, I haven't seen this before. That's because you haven't logged into this computer from itself before. Yes, and it says permission denied. So it's not going to allow me to log in. So what if I sudo, switch user and do, su, switch user, dash, and let's become this user. Just to make sure that we can log in. And I can. So the reason why it didn't let me log in is because, sorry, paused it there for a second. Someone's drilling, it sounds like. The reason why it didn't let us log in is because it doesn't allow password authentication. So we could, since we are this user, we can run ssh-keygen. And we'll take the default, so it puts it in the right area. Leave it empty for the passphrase. Once again, sometimes it's good to have a passphrase. And then now, as this user, I can SSH just to localhost. I really don't know if they're done drilling, sorry. So SSH to localhost, I don't need a username because it does it as the default user that I'm logged in as, which is the right user. I don't need an @ because I don't have the username, so I don't need the @ to separate it. So I can just SSH to localhost. I hit enter, and it says, you haven't seen me before. Didn't we do that up here? Yes, we did, but it was for a different user. This is for each user on the system. So I'm going to say yes, and it says permission denied. So we have created a user here. We can't log in yet, but that's okay. I'm going to exit back out to EC2 user. I want to become root for just a second. And now we're root. And I want to show you a few files. So cd/etc. So if we look here, and I'm just going to do it in reverse, some of these have recently updated. Password, group shadow, and shadow. So let's look at password, and I'm going to specifically look for this user. So let me come back up and grab my username. And I'm going to grep my user from this password file. And then you look, it shows the user. It has some other information here, okay, including the home, bin bash as well. Now let's also grep the username from shadow. So shadow is where the actual password is. So when I do things in class, I require my students to do a strong password because I ask them to send this hash to me, and then I can send it through a password cracker. And if it's not a good password, it can be cracked, and then they don't get all the points for it. So I hope that you've enjoyed this. We've created a user. We are able to do stuff on the system as user. We're not yet able to log in. We'll maybe get that another day. But you've seen how to create a user, change a password, and you're starting to get familiar with some of these files. So I'll include some links down below to try and understand these files better. Thank you.